Collective Con. It's Eric from the Wait For It podcast here with the one, the only, Ryan Colt Levy. Ryan.
Hello.
It's so amazing to see you again. It's been a minute, but we've gotten to interact already. You've had some people in line. You're hanging out, you're vibing, and we're ready for the 3-day weekend here in Jacksonville. How's it going? How's the trip been back to Florida?
Beautiful. It's been the best kind of trip back I could ask for. Already for day one, people have been rolling up. The weather is beautiful. I got my coffee right off the bat. I get to hang with Reagan, and soon Susie will be in here. So seeing you guys again, it's been a minute. It's lovely. I feel very welcome.
Yeah, and since we last saw you, and I know you've already started having conversations about this, you're not just Denji from Chainsaw Man, the anime. You're also a big movie star. Like, first off, congratulations.
Thank you.
Such an amazing experience, I'm sure. I really want to dive into that because, I've been so impressed with your work in general, but as Denji and the English voice work that you're doing, a lot of people like to talk sub versus dub. Mm-hmm. There is no conversation when it comes to Denji, in my opinion, because both of you guys bring something so unique. When I was watching the movie and I saw the subtle differences that you made, and I was like, that makes so much sense. But both versions had those things going on. Like, what is the psychology behind all of that when you're doing the movie, you're doing the show, you're doing that character? How are you bringing in that extra flavor of Denji that's not on the other side of things, and that's like specifically, it seems to be you doing it?
Well, that's very sweet of you. Thank you. I will say, first off, one of my favorite things has been hearing how many people, when they saw the movie, they would see it multiple times in both sub and dub. And it wasn't, I love the fact that people aren't being like, this one's better or that one's better. Instead, they're just enjoying it all together and finding that instead they want to experience it both ways, which I think is so cool. I think my approach has always been the same with any character, except with Denji, I happen to deeply love this story, so it gives me a little bit more of a personal connection. But the way that I see it is, whether it's me doing it here or Toya doing it in Japan, we're there to service the character. So it's about what Denji needs from me more than what I want to do for the performance, and it kind of brings it out naturally. And I just think that there's so much inherently in Fujimoto's work that is Western leaning. You could tell he loves American cinema and storytelling, and so the humor, I think, just like plays really well when translated,
Yeah, and it's really, really great work. Like, I'm definitely a sucker for going in, watching the sub, watching the dub, rinse, wash, repeat.
Hell yeah.
It's been a really good time. And for you in particular, Chainsaw Man is such a deep, personal, like, just iconic thing for a lot of us, but it really touches a nerve with you. I mean, you've talked at length about how Chainsaw Man saved your life, essentially, right? Like, I gotta pivot to the talk of the town. Chainsaw Man, the manga.
Yeah.
We just saw the ending.
The ending,
again.
yeah.
The ending part 2. What are your fresh thoughts on that? It's a wound right now because we're all wanting more. We don't want it to end. And you're still in a weird place where there's so much content to adapt.
Yeah.
Like, how are you weighing those two things where the journey's not over necessarily, but in a way it is?
I think, one, I loved the ending. I would say I'm not going to get into it here because I don't want to spoil things.
You knew that was a hot take.
Yeah. But I do think that, like any great art, when something ends and it gets a response like this, it's a good sign. I think people are feeling a lot of things. Both, people loved it. Some people really didn't connect with it. Some people that I'm seeing, I don't think fully got it. There's a lot going on. And I think it's the kind of ending that's going to continue to unfold the more that we go back to it and go back to part 2. I think the idea of, like, the deconstruction of the shonen hero has always been an element of what this story is, which is what had me so fascinated from the start.
Yeah.
And I think knowing where it goes helps me personally kind of lay the tracks a little bit emotionally with Denji, because then there's certain things that I can put into a scene that I know will have a payoff later, So it's exciting, really.
Yeah, bittersweet to say the least. I mean,
very.
Some of the best stories have some of the worst endings because we don't want them to end.
Yeah, well, and I think ending anything is difficult. Any story, it's really hard, and I think I would rather a story finish and say what it's trying to say than overstay its welcome.
Yep.
You know, and there's so much. I mean, I in time I would love to do like a proper chat about it, because I think there's so much to mine, but it's so fresh that I know so many people aren't caught up.
Yeah.
But I think it's a really powerful ending, personally.
Yeah, I share that sentiment with you. I mean, that's the thing, though. It's a fresh wound, right?
Yeah.
So time will
Oh, yeah.
tell, you know, what the overall opinion is.
Yeah.
But that journey might be ending for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a journey that you're starting back up when it comes to music.
Yeah.
And RCL. Can you tell us a little bit about, like, what it's like to release a single? What prompted that? And I might have heard through the grapevines there's more to come. So
Yes.
anything you can talk about, I'd love to chat about it, because it was a great experience listening to it on my end.
Thank you. Oh, dude, thank you so much. Yeah. You know, I was in bands for most of my life, and when the band broke up, it was the first time since I was a teenager that I suddenly didn't need to constantly work on music and rehearse and all this stuff. And I think we had hit a point as a band where we stopped enjoying the process, and we were sort of just in this like relentless cycle, and we were burnt out and exhausted, and we just kind of stopped enjoying creating. And so that led to the band breaking up. Weirdly, all of this happened, and it's been 8-9 years since we were really doing anything, and I had fully stopped playing music. I sold all my gear, and it was really strange. One day, it was about a year ago, I just started kind of getting songs in my head, because that's always kind of how I write, is I just hear a progression or a melody. And it had been a long time since that had happened. And at first I was just excited to get ideas again, and then I realized that in my entire history of making music, I had never put out solo music. I'd always written it and sent it through a band and then gone through there. So realizing now that I had this whole other career and this whole other life, and now I can just make music without an expectation or a need for it to do something, it was really liberating. So yeah, I just started going at it and realized that I have like at least an EP's worth of ideas. So hopefully by the fall, I'll get the rest of them out.
Listen, that's what I wanted to hear. I'm excited to hear, and I'm excited that more people get to hear it. Ryan, thank you so much for taking the time. I'm not just saying this because he's here. One of the nicest people in the convention circuit that you're going to meet, and every single time you like take it to a whole nother level.
Oh, you're too kind.
I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for giving us that time.
Of course.
We will see you guys on the next one.